and we've got a very special guest here with me today. The very important Clarence Buggs, longtime TV and radio host, also host of the Clarence Buggs Show on Talk 107.3. You can catch it every day from 1 to 3. Talk 107.3
10 to 1.
Oh, 10 to 1.
10 to
Sorry.
1. Right after you produce AM Baton Rouge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's been a long day, Clarence. I apologize for that.
Well,
I don't know where I got 1 to 3.
if there's any reward to be had out of all of this, is I have finally arrived at this point in my career where I can be a guest on Sports Update with Kate. It doesn't get any better than this, Kate.
It really doesn't. So Clarence and I were talking about this because he's so used to being the host, being in this chair, that today he finally gets to be the guest. So
it is so weird. I've been doing this for, God, I don't want to reveal my age, thank God for Just for Men 5-minute hair color, but 39 years I've been doing this.
Wow.
And this is the first time that I've ever done an entire show where I'm the guest and not the host.
Wow.
It's kind of weird. So you have the honor of saying I was the first one that ever got to pull this off with Clarence.
I know. Well, that's pretty cool. That is really neat. Okay, Clarence, so you know what we're going to talk about today.
Let me see. What could we talk about today, Kate? I don't know.
So the big story, the no call against the Saints, is going to be the main topic of today's show because
unfortunately,
literally it's been the main topic of everything since it's happened. So first of all, did you watch the game at home or where did you watch the game?
I was at home watching the game, and fortunately, everything is still intact at home. All of the TVs are still working. No walls have holes punched in them or anything. Just unbelievable turn of events.
You said that. I have to mention something. So obviously, everybody's big into social media these days, and was a lot of social media action after this game. A lot.
You think?
One of the things that I saw. It's a guy videoed his friend watching the final play of the game. He literally punches his TV and breaks the whole after he saw the play.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not? I mean, I was actually at the game, and the dome literally went from being electric. Literally, the ceiling was falling out of the dome to complete silence. I mean, when something like this happens, you honestly can't believe it. But then the game went on, gets sent into overtime, which never should have happened, but Saints don't get the win.
It's so unfortunate on so many fronts, Kate. I mean, obviously you feel bad for the team, you feel bad for the coaches, but my heart particularly went out to the working man and woman of Louisiana that on any other day may not have taken the time to scrape together enough money. Come on, honey, we're gonna forego eating out for the next couple of weeks. We're gonna spend some extra money. We're gonna splurge and give ourselves the opportunity to be a part maybe of what will be history, the Saints making another Super Bowl. For that guy and girl that spent the amount of money that it took for them, you're talking travel, you're talking gas, you're talking food, you're talking tickets, you're talking concessions, and this is what you get to see.
I mean, look, I think they're playing it a million. They can keep on playing it if they want, because when you watch that play that we just watched and you don't get a call on that, that is a clear pass interference. It's clear pass interference. And you and I were talking about this earlier. So I was telling you how they reinvented the play on Madden, the NFL game.
Right.
And on the video game, the exact same play, it literally looks exactly like that play we just saw.
Right.
The ref calls the pass interference.
You talk about social media. I am actually amazed that no one to date has shot a video at home, made up like, and y'all forgive me, accepted in the spirit that it's given, two people portraying Stevie Wonder and the late, great Ray Charles watching this game. And they turned to one another and said, can you believe they didn't throw a pass? I saw that it was pass interference. I'm surprised nobody's resorted to that on social media. It was that obvious.
It was that obvious, and that's pretty cool. I wish somebody would have came up with that. But yes, it was that obvious. I mean, I've had conversations with people, even people who don't even know anything about the sport. Could tell that that was, there should have been a flag called on that. And, I mean, what needs to happen? Why is it? I mean, we all saw it. There was referees standing right there. Actually, one of the clips that I saw actually shows one of the refs going to the other ref and going, no. Like, he acted like he wanted to pull a flag out, and he's like, no, he stopped it. What?
Right.
Did you see that? Why do you think that is?
I saw that, and I also have to hearken back to the white hat, the head of that crew, said that it was a, quote, judgment call. Now, I understand that when you're talking about rules and physical contact in a sport like football, there are rules, and at some point you exercise judgment as far as, was it egregious enough for me to reach and throw the flag? I don't think there's a person on the planet that would say, judgment call or not, you got to throw the flag in that instance. It was just absolutely amazing. And what's maybe ironic and hurtful at the same time for the average ticket buying member of the NFL watching public, recently, what was it, 2012, 2013, the refs threatened to strike if they didn't get certain things, certain concessions from the league. And in 2019, their salaries went up to $205,000. And this is what we get because obviously buying tickets and the like, TV revenue and the like, all helps to pay for their salaries. And this is the best we can get? Really?
Honestly, I didn't even know that fact right there. So the fact, I mean, and then you're in the NFC Championship game. It's not like this is just a regular season game. I mean, this is the NFC Championship. The Saints, unfortunately, didn't make it to this point last year. They got into the divisional round.
Right.
They had the Minnesota Miracle. That happened. Everybody was so sad. So the fact that they were able to come back again this season and get back to that point.
And you bring up a great point. Not only is it the NFC Championship, but it is also, you only make the roster to officiate an NFL game if you have, quote, graded out among the best officials in the league during the regular season. So supposedly, the officials for the playoff games are the best of the best. And this is what happens?
Exactly. If that's the best of the best, then I'm really disappointed.
I don't want to see the rest of it.
I don't want to see the rest of it.
I don't want to see the rest of it.
Because the best would make that call. Because you could, it was clear as day. Actually, we've got a clip from Sean Payton right after the game, and I want to show it. He's talking about what happened and what he discussed with the league office. We're going to show it right here.
That call puts it 1st and 10. We're on an E3 plays, and it's a game-changing call. And it's where it's at. So it's disappointing. Credit the Rams. They made enough plays, though. They won the game. The kicker made some big kicks. But for a call like that not to be made, man, it's just hard to swallow. And then to get a phone call, they blew the call. They said it should never have not been a call. They said not only was it interference, it was helmet to helmet. There were 2 calls. They couldn't believe it. No, we spoke initially, then I called to follow up, and first thing Al said when I got on the phone, we messed it up. And but we go into these league meetings, and we sit as an ownership group, and we don't further evaluate the replay system. You know, there's just too much at stake. And it's a hard job for those guys because it's happening fast. But I don't know if there was ever a more obvious pass interference call that, you know, here it is, the NFC Championship game. So tough one to swallow.
Okay, so we all just saw in that clip, Sean Payton's obviously explaining his conversation with the league office, what all went on. I mean, first of all, I want to applaud Sean Payton because obviously a devastating game, able to, and you and I were talking about this earlier too, able to come out. He was so poised talking to the media, which I thought was unbelievable for him to be like that. But also, when that no call happened, they showed a clip of him on the field, and he looks at the ref and he goes, that was a Super Bowl costing call. Do you agree with that?
Totally. And in a situation like that, you are almost forced to be composed. There's only one other option. And as the head representing an NFL franchise, as an individual who obviously feels totally wronged, you can't let the other side come out, because once it starts, it's going to be tough to haul it, to pull that back in. So you've got to go out with the complete mindset, regardless of what I'm feeling, regardless of what everyone in America, regardless of what everyone in the known football universe just saw. I can't really say how I truly feel, because once I get started, God only knows. And I love my job. I don't want to hear, a fine coming down from the front office of the NFL. I mean, there's only two options that you have in that instance.
Exactly, and he definitely handled it very well. Well, look, we've got a lot more to talk about regarding this no call. We're going to really dive in deep. I want to talk about the social media verse, if that's a word.
Yeah, close it up
right now. Social media verse, and kind of what went on in the social media world, what people's reactions were, and we're going to dive a little bit more into that. We've still got a lot of time left, guys, so stick with us. We are here at Scoreboards. The address is 10655 Coursey Boulevard. It's right off Coursey and Airline. Super easy to go to. Look, guys, they've got great foods. I actually just had these little mini hot dogs. They had some melted cheese
Those
on them.
look
Oh
great.
my goodness, they were so good.
And I'm not even a hot dog person, and they look great.
Well, I'm a hot dog person. I'm not gonna lie, so I love that. I think they're gonna bring us some more food up a little bit later. But guys, this is the place to come. They've got a TV in every single corner. Come out if you are going to watch the Super Bowl. We'll talk. Come watch.
We'll talk about that. Yeah.
Come watch some LSU basketball. This is the place to come watch for. So 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Come check us out at Scoreboards. We've got to take a quick break, but we will be right back.
Your dad gave me his baby to go pick up your brother from the airport.
Oh, honey, just take Mom's car. She just had navigation installed.
I totally got this. We were just there.
Hey, isn't that?
Yep. I programmed the airport in, just in case.
You don't need a new car to have new technology. Mike's Audio, conveniently located on Airline Highway near the corner of Bluebonnet.
Hi folks, Clarence Buggs here. Coach Roger Cador would take the time to tell you how to catch our brand new show, The Roger Cador Show, but as you can see, he's kind of busy right now out at Scoreboards, Baton Rouge's newest sports grill with food that is absolutely amazing. Catch the show 8 o'clock Tuesday nights, 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays, and on Pelican Television's YouTube channel as well. You want to come out and have a great time. It's awesome, isn't it, Coach? Mm-hmm. Told you.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Update with Kate. I am your host, Kate Adams. We've got longtime TV and radio host.
I'm not hosting. Oh, wait, that's right. I'm sitting over here.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
You're the guest this time. And for the first time ever, actually, he is the guest. So longtime TV and radio host Clarence Buggs, also host of the Clarence Buggs Show from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Talk 107.3 FM. So check out his show. It's great, actually, to produce it sometimes.
Yes, you do.
So Clarence and I get to work together a lot. So I'm pleased to have you, Clarence. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Kate.
Okay, so we were talking about the big topic of discussion, the missed call or the no call that they didn't make. Actually, and what we heard from Sean Payton in the clip that we showed you earlier, it was not only a blown call on pass interference, but also helmet to helmet. I mean,
well, I guess they figured that since this is Louisiana, and since we have this concept called lanyap, a little something extra, they kind of threw us in a 2-for-1 on this one. 2 fouls on 1 play and no call. Just a little lanyap for the Louisiana folks.
Yeah, and then they're showing this play here again. Just look at this play. Clarence, can you not? That is such a clear as day pass interference. I mean, and there's the helmet to helmet right there. There's the helmet to helmet. I mean, the fact that these referees did not see this, I really I'm lost for words.
And you keep hoping the more you see it, at some point the heavens are going to open up. There's going to be this light that's going to come shining down, and you're going to have this epiphany that, oh, okay, this is how they missed it. But just the exact opposite happens. The more times you see it, the more incensed you become, because there's no way on the planet that you missed this.
There's no way. And the fact that earlier you said, okay, they said it was a judgment call. So
right.
What were they judging? They weren't judging the play.
They weren't
at all.
judging head-to-head or helmet-to-helmet or pass interference, apparently.
Well, Rams quarterback, cornerback, Roby Coleman. I think it's Nickel actually is his first name.
Uh-huh.
So in his interviews afterwards, he said, yeah, I made that pass interference. I knew. He owned up to it. He said he knew it was a pass interference. And honestly, he said it was a gift from God.
Yeah, the football gods all smiled on
that
it.
It did not get called on him. And so in his view, I understand that. But at the same time, it's not fair. It's not fair to the Saints. It's not fair to Who Dat Nation to rob them. Literally, everybody feels robbed.
Yeah, and he was put in a position where it was bad enough that the call was not made. Every single person in America that's ever been a football fan knows how grossly the no call affected the outcome of the game. So when I stick a microphone in your face and you're the guilty party, the only thing worse than the call not being made is you having the unmitigated gall with the mic in your face for all of America to say, well, I didn't interfere with the guy. I mean, at that point, you own up because the game's over. It's not like you're going to force a replay now. It's officially over. So, yeah, okay, the football gods smiled on me, as they said, and I got away with one.
Well, I mean, you can't blame them for being happy because now they're going to the Super Bowl. But one of the things that really just rubbed me the wrong way from one of the Rams players, Todd Gurley posted a picture on his Instagram. You know how all the players like to do the jersey swap?
Right.
Well, this was a fake picture that he came up with. But in the photo, it's a picture of Todd Gurley holding the referee shirt and then the referee holding Todd Gurley's jersey. Like they did a little swap. Now, honestly, I was like, man, that is very bold. And first of all, Todd Gurley didn't even have a great game in this game. He really got shut down by the Saints, but he didn't care. They're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I mean, what do you think about that picture?
Well, Louisiana, in so many ways, has been the favorite whipping boy of the rest of the country forever. And people will take pot shots at the Saints, at Louisiana, that they won't take at other people. And I've also got to wonder, Kate, at what point does Bountygate have some sort of influence on all of this? You and I were talking off air, and I don't think there's a single person in America that has to wonder if this call in the championship game had not been made against the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. If this call in the championship game had not been made against the Patriots, would the NFL and Roger Goodell be so quiet about this? I guarantee you, if it had been any of those two teams, there would have been a press conference, if not that night, the next day. But it's the Saints. You know, they had the Bountygate thing before, arguably the smallest media market of all the NFL teams. If there's any place in the football universe where this could happen and they'll get over it, it'll be Louisiana and the Saints, sadly.
You know, and I agree with you. It would be different because you know Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft. I think that they're buddy-buddy with Roger Goodell. And those guys aren't going to let anything, especially a no call, prevent their team to getting somewhere like the Super Bowl. So the fact that this happened to the Saints, and talk about the bounty. I feel like we've been paying for the bounty ever since they accused us of the bounty. I mean, so last year's Minnesota Miracle, everybody said, oh, well, that was because of the bouncy. Even though
Well, no, that was settled on the field with the teams.
Exactly.
That's different. That's different.
Completely different than this year. So how long are we going to be accused and blamed for and said, well, you deserve this because of the bounty? How long? I mean, why do we have to continue to endure this?
Bountygate had absolutely no bearing on this at all. But again, when you look at the likes of a Robert Kraft, you look at the likes of a Jerry Jones, in today's world, with all things being equal, say what you will, But the Robert Krafts of the world, the Jerry Jones of the world, they have earned the respect of whomever happens to be the commissioner. Look, dude, we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many Super Bowl rings do we have? You don't want to make me mad. As opposed to the New Orleans Saints, who have won throughout the course of their history, and again, arguably the smallest fan base of any team in the NFL. If there's anybody you can do this to and get away with it, it's the Saints. Is what it is.
I mean, it has been a tough year in football for Louisiana fans.
You think
between everything
Texas
going on
A&M.
with LSU, exactly. That Texas A&M game, 1 second put back on the clock, that should have never happened.
Yeah.
Then we've got another situation. We're in the NFC Championships, the final 2 minutes of regulation, and they don't call a call that will literally send us to the Super Bowl. Instead, make us go to overtime. Now, Drew Brees did have that interception in overtime, but honestly, I don't blame Brees because I mean, look, he threw the ball, the guy hit his hand. That's what happened in overtime. The guys got back up, and they decided, all right, we're going to try to play to win. Then we've got the Rams kicker kicking a 57-yard field goal.
Which would have been good from 67.
Yeah, exactly. It's just insane to me that they were even able to get away with this. I mean, what needs to change? Is it where the NFL needs to decide maybe in the final 2 minutes of games that we actually can review calls or no calls, or is it something where a coach can maybe throw a challenge flag if there's not a call? I mean, what do you think in your mind needs to change?
Ironically, in the CFL, the Canadian Football League, pass interference is reviewable. And say what you will about the folks up in Canada land, but they got it right on this particular instance. Now, as the human species, there are certain activities, certain practices that we're involved in that evolve over time. The NC2A finally recognized targeting, but that's going to have to evolve as well. It's going to be similar in basketball to a flagrant 1 and a flagrant 2 because of the speed of the game. There are going to be instances where helmet-to-helmet contact is made, but it's not malicious. So you've got to have differing levels there. Same thing is going to happen with the NFL. They're going to have to evolve on this issue. Now, doesn't do anything for our boys. That's water under the bridge at this point. But if nothing else, who knows? For generations, when they finally get this right and change the rule, it'll be known as the Saint Rule.
Unfortunately, that's what it will be known as. And I hate that it had to happen to us and it had to come down to this. You would think by this time, with the technology that we have these days, all the resources that we have in front of us, that something like this wouldn't even happen. And that's one of the things Sean Payton was saying. He was saying, look at the technology we have. There's no reason in any way, shape, or form that should have, that you can't not call. I mean, I don't get it. And I've even seen pictures. I feel like I've looked at every angle of this.
Well, the problem in some instances, Kate, is not that we don't have the technology, we don't have the will in place. The white hat, head of the officiating crew, when approached by the media as soon as the game was over, said, well, it was a judgment call. I haven't seen the play. Well, all you had to do is look up at the scoreboard, the replay screens in the dome. Everybody saw it ad nauseum after the play was over. But the problem was there's no mechanism in place to address it. So while you see it, everybody knows it's egregious. Everybody knows, wow, an obvious foul. There's no mechanism in place to address it. So what do?
Okay, so in order to have it addressed in the future, who makes that decision? Does the NFL have a committee? Does Roger Goodell, do you know the process and how they decide to make that decision?
No, to answer the question directly, no, I don't, but it should be fairly simple. You either incorporate it into the coach's challenge. You've got the red flag. We'll give you, say, one additional during the course of the last, 2 minutes of the game or last 3 minutes of the game. There's also, you can have a booth-initiated review like they do in the NC2A. If targeting is there, previous play is under review. Even if targeting isn't called, they'll come back and say, touchdown has in fact been confirmed. The ruling on the field stands. Additionally, there is targeting on the play. And depending upon the level of it, number 43 is disqualified. So the mechanisms are there. Sadly, we've never encountered a situation where so many people saw it at the same time, and maybe more important, so much was at stake here that now it's going to have to be addressed. Before now it was, wow, the refs missed the call. But this time it cost us a Super Bowl appearance.
This time it did, and Saints fans are not going to let this one go. That's for sure. We've got so much more to talk about because there has been a lot that's been happening in the world since this has gone on. People are making petitions. People are putting billboards up.
There's a lawsuit was filed today.
There's a lawsuit filed. I mean, we're about to dive into all of that. We do need to take a quick break. We are here at Scoreboards. 10655 Coursey Boulevard is the address. It's literally right off the interstate, right off Coursey and Airline. And look, guys, this is the place that you've got to come and watch all the games. I mean, Clarence is sitting here with me. There's literally a TV in every corner, so it's the best place to come and watch your sports games. And hey, this board behind me, it's a huge TV screen. So this is really the spot to watch it. All right, come check us out. We are here at Scoreboards. Again, I'm going to give you that address, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We've got to take a quick break, but we will be right back.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi folks, Clarence Buggs here. Coach Roger Cador would take the time to tell you how to catch our brand new show, The Roger Cador Show, but as you can see, he's kind of busy right now out at Scoreboards, Baton Rouge's newest sports grill with food that is absolutely amazing. Catch the show 8 o'clock Tuesday nights, 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays, and on Pelican Television's YouTube channel as well. You want to come out and have a great time. It's awesome, isn't it, Coach?
Mm-hmm.
Told you.
Look, your dad gave me his baby to go pick up your brother from the airport.
Oh, honey, just take Mom's car. She just had navigation installed.
I totally got this. We were just there.
Hey, isn't that...
Yep. I programmed the airport in, just in case.
You don't need a new car to have new technology. Mike's Audio, conveniently located on Airline Highway near the corner of Bluebonnet.
Welcome back to Sports Update with Kate. I'm Kate Adams. This is Clarence Buggs, longtime TV radio host and host of the Clarence Buggs Show from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Talk 107.3 FM. I did. My brain is working, actually, the more we're talking.
Been there, done that. Been there, done that, Kate.
All right, so this whole time we've been talking about the no call against the Saints. We brought up some NFL owners because earlier we were talking about, well, what if this would have happened to Jerry Jones with the Cowboys? What if this would have happened to Robert Kraft with the Patriots? They wouldn't have let this happen. And also the NFL probably wouldn't have stayed silent so long as they have.
Right.
So I want to talk about another NFL owner, our very own Gayle Benson.
Okay.
Now this has been such a special season so far. All the players already on their jerseys had a special patch with the TB to honor Tom Benson since his passing. And so after this happened, obviously Who Dat Nation is devastated because of this. But Gayle Benson personally wrote a letter to all of Who Dat Nation. I do want to read a quick little part of it. I'm not going to read the whole thing because the letter's kind of long, but I'm going to read a part of it. And I think this kind of just shows how great of an owner that we truly have.
How classy a lady she is as well.
So this is kind of towards the end of the letter, but she goes, the truth is we are more than a team and fans. We are a family. As a family, we must celebrate together, support each other, and sometimes suffer together. This past season has been especially meaningful to me as we honored my husband, and I will never be able to fully express my appreciation for the way all of you have supported me in honoring our team and Tom Benson's legacy. I know he is proud of his team and our fans. And I just liked that particular quote. But this, our owner, and we are so lucky to have an owner like Gail Benson.
Yes.
And she's one of the very few. I think there's only maybe one other woman owner
Current.
in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so only one of the couple women. But what does this say about the Saints and our teams and having an owner write a letter to our fans like this?
It's particularly revealing, and it's also proven true that the team is more than just a team. For example, the Saints and the city of New Orleans and all of Louisiana, particularly South Louisiana, have this bond that is so very special. A couple of the council members, if memory serves correct, I know one for sure, from the city council in New Orleans, has already started gauging opinion of, tell you what, folks, since we got robbed out of this, why don't we, the city, have a parade for the Saints during the Super Bowl? Make it like a Mardi Gras thing. And, you know, if you're talking 500,000 people, the entire city and people from all across South Louisiana turn out as though, you know, this is the Super Bowl champion, it'll make national news. It will reinforce among a lot of the fan base that you don't have to just take this lying down. You know, we're Louisianans. We know better than anybody with all of our culinary skills. If there's anybody that can make lemon meringue out of a sack of lemons, it's Louisiana folk in the kitchen. We know how to take a little of nothing and come up with something grand when we go into the kitchen. I think it's a marvelous idea. And if they were to pull this off and have a parade for the Saints in the middle of the Super Bowl, God only knows how many people would turn out for that.
Oh, 100%. I think that is an amazing idea. And I was reading about that as well. I mean, I think it's something they definitely should do, and I hope to see that this happens, because if it does make national news, which it should, and
it would.
most likely will, I mean, how do you think the rest of the nation will respond? First of all, a lot of people who haven't got to experience Mardi Gras really wish they would get to, because it's one of the best seasons that we have in Louisiana. I mean, I love Mardi Gras. You finish the year, you start the year, then you go right into Mardi Gras, get some good king cake, all of that.
Right.
But it's not only for that, but we get to celebrate our Saints and how great of a season they had.
And one of the things that we are known for all around the world is the food, obviously, the music, but the people. Anyone that comes here from any other part of the country, from any other part of the planet, when they go back home and people ask, well, I hear you went to New Orleans, man, how was your trip? Oh, dude, let me tell you, the food was just absolutely amazing. The music, I think they call it Zydeco or something. I've never heard anything like it. But the people are just absolutely amazing. And they already know, one of our hallmarks in Louisiana, we can take the least little thing and make it into a party. Oh, wait, the sun is out. Let's have a second line. You know, well, wait, the moon came up tonight. Oh, we need to have a party for that. That's just who we are. So, you know, for us to celebrate in that fashion in the midst of the Super Bowl, I think it would be huge. And now with social media and everything these days, the word would get out. The word would be all over the place. And it would be a nice way of keeping the heat on the NFL to make the necessary rule changes, because you've produced my radio show on more than one occasion, and you know one of my hallmark sayings is, Americans have the attention span of a gnat. If you ever watch a gnat, he will flitter around and he'll land on something, and then a few seconds later he'll flitter around and he'll land on something, and a few seconds later he's on to something else. That's how we are with the 24-hour news cycle, with the internet, with social media. We have so many things that we can focus on that we very rarely stay focused on the things that we should. If we're not careful, this will get pushed under the rug. The 24-hour news cycle will go on, and some other franchise will end up being victimized. We don't want that to happen. But with social media, you throw that Saints party in the middle of the Superdome, guaranteed it'll go viral.
Oh, 100%. I agree. You're right. We don't want to end this 24-hour news cycle. We want them to know how much this affected us. It's not right. And talk about social media. First of all, it's already my brain is just bouncing all over the place right now. I feel like I can't even keep a thought straight. we're already in, or we're about to start Mardi Gras season very
Right.
soon. And so to have a parade, I don't think it'll really put that much on New Orleans because they had parades. Well, I used to live in New Orleans actually. And when
Right.
I would live there, I remember I would be late for work. And do you want to know what my work excuse was? I said there was a parade, literally. Like I had to wait
Right.
for the parade,
Gotta wait for the parade to go
pass
by.
me
Yeah.
in order for me to, make my way to work. And that happened several
and just
times.
imagine the hot item for the parade would be a string of beads with a referee on it behind jail bars with robbed across the bottom, NFC Championship. I mean, the possibilities are just unreal.
They really, I didn't even think about all that. They need to have this. Now that we're talking about it, they've got to have it.
They should.
They can make specialty beads, specialty
T-shirts, the footballs, everything.
And it would be great. And then you can have all the Saints players riding in the parade. I mean, it would literally be so amazing. And I think the city of New Orleans, and it would be a great way to bounce back from us getting robbed, basically.
And aside from the emotional lift that it would give us, you would also allow many of the merchants that were planning on selling NFC champion gear, going to the Super Bowl gear, because the economic impact was significant in losing that game. Now, and that's not even talking about the payroll for the Saints, who may have had incentives for making the NFC Championship, winning the NFC Championship, going to the Super Bowl, or winning the Super Bowl. All that money now goes right down the drain. But at least the vendors, the merchants, could recoup some of those losses if they had beads and T-shirts and footballs for this special parade to commemorate this event. Just an idea.
No, seriously. It would be great for the vendors. Actually, I love that you hit on the economic impact of a city. I thought that the Saints losing this game had a huge economic impact on New Orleans. But let's switch over to where the Super Bowl is happening. So the Super Bowl is going to be in Atlanta this year. And earlier in the week, there was a clip of Atlanta's mayor expressing how she would love for any other team to be in the Super Bowl besides the Saints. Now, we all know the Saints and Falcons are longtime rivals. Obviously, she was making a joke. She actually caught a whole lot of heat from making that
But trash
statement,
talking is a part of it.
It really is.
I thought it was hilarious.
I did too. But, the one thing that really hurt me was if the Saints were able to make it to the Super Bowl, obviously we're not anymore. Atlanta is a place where Saints fans could have traveled really well to, and we always travel well regardless.
Yes.
But you can drive there. You don't have to buy a plane ticket. It's not like it's in Miami or somewhere else.
And even if you
perfect.
don't have a ticket for the game, you'll drive just to be in the city, to be a part of the atmosphere and the experience if your team is in the Super Bowl. I don't think there's going to be too many people driving down from Boston, Mass, or driving down from Los Angeles just to be in the city for the game experience.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that kind of hit me hard. I really felt personally this was our year. We had a complete team. Drew Brees was having one of the most magical seasons he's ever had of his whole entire career. And to me, and then it's in Atlanta. I mean, it felt like everything was lining up until that no call. And I do want to talk about the Twitterverse and how they reacted. We've got a couple of tweets right here that I want to show from some notable people. So some other sports guys, actually. So let's see if we're going to show them. All right, so I can't tell. So this is LeBron James, actually, who I thought was a Rams fan because he's in LA now.
Right.
But LeBron James, in this tweet, he goes, on another note, them with the zebra emoji, be on some, and I don't think he meant trash. I think he meant to say the other word. I hate to see that happen at such a great game with the emoji with his. All right, so let's see what we've got from Reggie Bush now. Reggie Bush also put one out. Let's see if we can get it here up on the screen. He goes, Dear NFL, do not release a press statement saying it should have been pass interference months and years later, the same way you missed on Dez Bryant catch and fixed it years.
Ouch.
After all it does is people off.
Right.
Then we've got Dez Bryant, who makes a call. He goes, I don't know how the ref don't make that call. I mean, and this is just three people. You know the Twitterverse exploded
Well, of course.
after this happened. I mean, just
And
tell
rightfully
me a little
so.
bit about your reaction to seeing their reaction.
Well, the thing for me is, if you go back to the very first one that you put up from LeBron James, and I am no huge LeBron James fan by any stretch of the imagination, but for me, it's not about whether or not you're a Saints fan. It's about whether or not you are a fan of right and wrong. When all is said and done, I think what adds more validity to our cause and our case than anything else is that you've had people weigh in from every sport. You've had people weigh in from just about every city, many of whom are not Saints fans, but they understand, whoa, wait a minute, this is the NFC Championship. If it can happen to the Saints, it could happen to us.
Exactly. And that's a point that I don't even think I have thought of yet, because as a Saints fan myself, I can barely get past what happened. But you're right. Right. Because if it can happen to us, it can really happen to anyone. But as we kind of pointed out earlier, now would this be something that happens to maybe the Cowboys or the Patriots? You know, it just seems like we always get the short end of the stick.
Now, the fact that it would not happen to the Cowboys or to the Patriots is above my pay grade. I don't know if physically it would or would not, but I can guarantee you that the slowness of the reaction from the NFL, the lack of a statement at this point in the game would not happen. Kraft, Jones, Robert, and Jerry would demand, and they probably wouldn't even have to, quote, demand it. The NFL, the league itself, because of how they perceive the likes of owners of Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft, they would try to get out ahead of this thing, as opposed to lagging so far behind like they've done with our Saints.
Well, what blows my mind when you make that comment was Sean Payton talked to the league office immediately after the game. So if he could talk to them at that point, then why haven't they said anything?
Exactly. And
again, it doesn't add up to me.
It doesn't add up. And if you call before I call you, that is a fairly clear acknowledgement that, yeah, we screwed this one up. So if you screw it up, then man up and own up. My late father instilled in all of his children at an early part in life, the first way to fix a problem is acknowledging that one exists. And if you have wronged someone, before you can move forward, you have to ask their forgiveness. None of that has happened so far. And it's bad enough that you have alienated so many people earlier in the season with this whole take a knee fiasco. Now you turn around and question the actual integrity of the game itself. It's not a good look when you wait this long from the NFL perspective.
It's not a good look at all. I completely agree with that. All right. I know we've really talked a lot about this topic. We're going to touch on it a little bit more.
We got some more to say.
Because there's so much to talk about. But like I said, we are here at Scoreboards. It is a great restaurant. They've got great bar drinks as well. Look, and they've got daily specials. They do snow crab some days, and they boil it in that good Cajun seasoning, so you really get the Cajun flavor when you get those snow crabs. So you got to come out, try those, try their daily lunch specials, and look, like I said, a TV in every single corner. So this really is the spot to come watch the game. If you're not going to watch the Super Bowl, then come out here and watch the basketball games. Come watch LSU gymnastics, softball, whatever sport it is that you're into, they're going to have it playing here. And also they've got great tailgate style food. Earlier I had some mini hot dogs that were just delicious. They've got all types of food, some chicken Alfredo. They've got corn and crab bisque or
great
something
wings.
like that. Yeah, wings. I mean, literally. I'm not going to go through the whole menu, but I just want to tell you a couple of things that are really good here.
Right.
But this really is the spot to come, watch the games, enjoy time with your family and friends. So come and check it out.
And watch us record live shows.
And watch us record live shows. Look, I'm here every Tuesday, so you got to come, check my show out, check it out live. So look, we're here at Scoreboards. 10655 Coursey Boulevard is the address. We've got to take a quick break, but we will be right back.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, folks. Clarence Buggs here. Coach Roger Cador would take the time to tell you how to catch our brand new show, The Roger Cador Show. But as you can see, he's kind of busy right now out at Scoreboards, Baton Rouge's newest sports grill with food that is absolutely amazing. Catch the show 8 o'clock Tuesday nights, 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays, and on Pelican Television's YouTube channel as well. You want to come out and have a great time. It's awesome, isn't it, Coach?
Mm-hmm.
Told you.
Look, your dad gave me his baby to go pick up your brother from the airport.
Oh, honey, just take Mom's car. She just had navigation installed.
I totally got this. We were just there.
Hey, isn't that...
Yep.
Welcome back to Sports Update with Kate. I'm your host, Kate Adams. We've got Clarence Bugg, longtime TV and radio host and host of his very own talk show, The Clarence Bugg Show, on Talk 107.3 FM from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday. Thank you for being here, Clarence.
One of our mottos is, I'll never tell you what to think, but guaranteed I will make you think. Heard that one before,
Oh,
right?
I definitely heard that. And look, you made me think in today's show, just sitting right here talking to you.
Good,
so
awesome.
Already brought up a lot of points that I didn't even really think of yet. So it's been great. I've loved having you on, Clarence. It's been a lot of fun.
And the pleasure's mine. Thank you, Kate.
All right, so I know we've talked about it so much, but I mean, this is what everyone's talking about right now.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
But some people are saying it wasn't just the call. The Saints could have played a better ball game, and I can't figure out exactly where my stance is. To me, I think my stance would be, it really does all boil down to the ending of the game. So if that call would have been made, I do believe the Saints would have gone to the Super Bowl. Now, could they have played a more complete game and a better game? Yes. And the things that I saw that I felt like they could have done better was when they kicked those 2 field goals earlier on in the game. I thought they could have been more effective in the red zone. Do you agree with that?
Well, obviously, hindsight is always 20/20. But let's understand something here, Kate. We're not talking about Tampa Bay. We're not talking about the Cleveland Browns. We're talking about the number 1 and number 2 seeds in the entire NFC. When you are going up against them, history says it's probably going to be a knockdown, drag-out slugfest. And it may well come down, as it should, with the number 1 and 2 seed to the final series, if not the final play. So you kind of go in understanding that these are the 2 best there are. And unlike the Philadelphia game, who we slaughtered earlier in the season, it was not that scenario. Unlike the Rams, who we beat rather handily, we went blow for blow, punch for punch the first time around. The playoffs and number 1 versus number 2 seed are completely different things. And let's be honest, the Rams came in with a chip on their shoulder the size of this screen behind us because we ended their winning streak earlier in the season. So they came in with, a bit of an attitude, a bit of revenge on their side. But all things being equal, if you play better on the first 2 possessions, that's one thing. If they play better at any given time during the game, that's something else. But we're talking about a play that occurred and a crew of people who didn't have cleats on determined what happened. It's not right. The game is supposed to be decided by the 22 guys on the field at the time. That didn't happen this time. So regardless of what happened prior to that, we are left dealing with the immediacy of the moment. And that moment in time will forever be tainted by what happened with no call.
You just said that so perfectly. I don't even know what to say anymore because you're right. I mean, it all led up to that moment, and all they had to do was just take the yellow flag out of their pocket and
something that 100 out of 100, 1,000 out of 1,000, 10,000 out of 10,000, even casual football fans would have done. But the guys that make $205,000 a year, saw fit not to do it. Go figure.
Lots of people upset about this. Actually, Harry Connick Jr., he wrote he actually put a post of his letter to the NFL that he wrote. And basically inside of that letter, he said, it doesn't matter what teams are playing. I don't just care that it was the Saints that this happened to. This is absolutely uncalled of. He goes, I love the game of football so much. The NFL gives me such great joy and has for many years. To not call the pass interference and the helmet-to-helmet penalties at the end of the game was one of the most disgraceful no calls I have ever seen. I mean, to you, is that the worst call you've ever seen in sports history?
Hands down, easily. If anything comes close to that, I can't for the life of me remember what it would be. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm not known for doing this. I can't think of a call in the next 20 years that will begin to approach being as egregious as this one was.
I mean, I really can't either. And this is the thing. I mean, like I said earlier, I really felt like this was the Saints' year. So now, again, let's look towards next season.
Okay.
First of all, the NFC South is stacked.
Yeah.
So just to make it to the divisional playoff round and then to beat that and make it to the NFC Championship is a huge feat. That's not something that just happens every day. The players have to work their butts off even to get to that point. And even if you do work your butts off, you need to have all the right players on the team. Everything's got to work in your favor in order to lead up to that point. Do you think for the third year in a row, the Saints can at least make it to the divisional playoff round and then maybe the NFC Championship and then hopefully a Super Bowl?
A couple of cogs, if with Ben retiring, if you can develop the tight end position, of course with Sheldon Rankins and his situation, you can bring in a minimal number of pieces. And just like the Rams came in with a chip on their shoulders as far as we've got something to prove to the Saints, in a gift-wrapped odd sort of way, the Saints may go into next season with more incentive, more drive, more will to prove to everybody else. I would hate to be a divisional opponent for the Saints. I would hate to be the first team to line up against them because we are going to look next season, conventional wisdom would say, to run roughshod over every single team. We are not leaving anything to chance like what happened to us last year and the year before. We're just not going to let that happen. I mean, if there was some incentive, we've got it now if we didn't have it before.
Well, we definitely have the incentive now, but we've got a quarterback that just turned 40 years old.
But not showing any signs of slowing down whatsoever.
He's not. Literally, he had one of the best seasons of his whole entire career. So let's hope that can continue on. But the thing that does worry me, or there's actually two things. Well, one, so Sheldon Rankins has got injured late in the season. He's got an Achilles injury. When you've got an injury like an Achilles injury, you never really know how long the recovery is going to be. For some people, it differs between person to person.
But the good news is the Saints historically have been able to get individuals, many of them lesser known, undrafted individuals that they can plug into the system, and the car continues to roll. Not only does it roll, but you can maintain highway speed, interstate speed with no problem.
I agree. They've had some incredible guys really step up to the plate. Even one of the guys that caught the touchdown pass in this past NFC Championship game,
first
Griffin,
catch.
Yes, he was only on the team for about 8 days. I mean, that's insane. Now, so I do think they can be able to do it again, possibly. It's not going to be easy, though.
Oh, no, never said it would be easy.
Oh, it's not going to be easy. But Mark Ingram is going to be a free agent.
Right.
I just want you to talk a little bit about that.
I would think that Mark, at this point in his career, with as many years as he has vested in the city of New Orleans, in that franchise, and of course, the way this season ended, no one wants to walk away and have their final season with any franchise remembered in this fashion. People ask me immediately after the game, do you think Drew's going to come back? The caliber of competitor that Drew Brees is, there is no way he walks off into the sunset with this game being his final memory. Not going to happen.
And talking about walking off into the sunset for Drew Brees, he was selected to go to the Pro Bowl, as well as Michael Thomas. Now, Drew Brees and Michael and a few other guys, I'm not going to name all of them right now.
Right.
Drew Brees and Michael Thomas have announced that they will not be attending the Pro Bowl this year. But one of the Saints players who is going to be Alvin Kamara. He's actually taking the place of Todd Gurley in the Pro Bowl. So do you think that Drew Brees and Michael Thomas are making a statement by not playing in the Pro Bowl, or do you simply think maybe they're tired? I mean, what do you think the reason is behind that?
I don't know if Michael Thomas and Drew Brees are making, quote, a statement by electing not to play in the Pro Bowl. I'll be brutally honest with you. I wouldn't. Just saying. I wouldn't. You've got to, at some point, draw a line in the sand. And love of the game is one thing. Providing a livelihood is something else. But when all is said and done, I accept some reciprocation. And quite frankly, for me to lace them up and go right back out in that particular setting, taking the possible injuries that could come along at stake, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I honestly, it's a good choice. I didn't know if they were maybe just like after everything that's transpired.
And they would never tell you.
Exactly.
They would never tell you if it was,
never.
but I got to think that figures at least a little bit into that decision.
Well, Drew Brees, and one of the things to show that he's just such a genuine guy is, and we were talking about this earlier too, so you go through this devastating loss, and so, thank you so much, Marty. They just brought us some chicken wings. These look really, really good, guys. I've actually never had a chance to try the chicken wings, but let's get a little camera shot real quick.
I think Marty is.
Marty's getting a camera shot.
Marty's
Okay,
lining us up right now.
We've got the chicken wings, and these wings are great, guys. So come out, try them. I lost my train of thought. Okay, here we go. It's happened
Drew Brees, great guy.
Drew Brees, great guy. So he's such a great guy that after every single game, the Saints are able to come out on the field if they want to bring their kids out there, run around. Drew Brees is out there with his kids, tossing the football, letting them kick field goals, do all those types of stuff.
Right.
After a loss like this, and even we asked Drew Brees while in the press conference, we said, what do you do after a loss like this? How do you recover from it, basically?
Right.
Do you spend time with family? He was at that point, he didn't even know how to answer.
Right.
But obviously,
he showed
family is so important to him. And to go out there and do that is...
And if nothing else, the lesson from all of this to teach your kids, as Drew did with his, life is not always fair. There will be hurdles that you have to cross. There will be peaks. There will be valleys. It's not always fair, but you give it your best shot. You keep those that you love around you. You put that behind you, and you move on.
I agree, Clarence. Look, Clarence Buggs, thank you so much for coming in. You had some great points, some great advice, and you definitely made me think today. Look, guys, we've got to go. Unfortunately, the hour is up. But like I said, come check us out at Scoreboard, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. I want to say thank you to my producer, Caleb St. Germain. I love it. Great graphics. See you next week.